Book 22. Death in the Great Hall. Now shrugging off his rags, the wiliest fighter of the islands leapt and stood on the broad door-sill, his own bow in his hand. He poured out at his feet a rain of arrows from the quiver and spoke to the crowd. "So much for that. Your clean-cut game is over. Now watch me hit a target that no man has hit before, if I can make this shot. Help me, Apollo." He drew to his fist the cruel head of an arrow for Antinous just as the young man leaned to lift his beautiful drinking cup, embossed, two-handled, golden. The cup was in his fingers, the wine was even at his lips. And did he dream of death? How could he? In that revelry amid his throng of friends, who would imagine a single foe, though a strong foe indeed, could dare to bring death's pain on him and darkness on his eyes? Odysseus's arrow hit him under the chin and punched up to the feathers through his throat. Backward and down he went, letting the wine cup fall from his shocked hand. Like pipes his nostrils jetted crimson runnels, a river of mortal red, and one last kick upset his table, knocking the bread and meat to soak in dusty blood. Now as they craned to see their champion where he lay, the suitors jostled in uproar down the hall, everyone on his feet. Wildly they turned and scanned the walls in the long room for arms, but not a shield, not a good ashen spear was there for a man to take and throw. All they could do was yell in outrage at Odysseus. "Foul to shoot at a man! That was your last shot! Your own throat will be slit for this! Our finest lad is down! You killed the best on Ithaca! Buzzards will tear your eyes out!" For they imagined, as they wished, that it was a wild shot, an unintended killing. Fools! Not to comprehend they were already in the grip of death. But glaring under his brows, Odysseus answered, "You yellow dogs, you thought I'd never make it home from the land of Troy. You took my house to plunder, twisted my maids to serve your beds. You dared bid for my wife while I was still alive. Contempt was all you had for the gods who rule wide heaven, contempt for what men say of you hereafter. Your last hour has come. You die in blood." As they all took this in, sickly green fear pulled at their entrails, and their eyes flickered, looking for some hatch or hideaway from death. Eurymachus alone could speak. He said, "If you are Odysseus of Ithaca come back, all that you say these men have done is true. Rash actions many here, more in the countryside. But here lies the man who caused them all. Antinous was the ringleader. He whipped us on to do these things. He cared less for a marriage than for the power Cronion has denied him as king of Ithaca. For that he tried to trap your son and would have killed him. He is dead now and has his portion. Spare your own people. As for ourselves, we'll make restitution of wine and meat consumed, and add each one a tithe of 20 oxen, with gifts of bronze and gold to warm your heart. Meanwhile, we cannot blame you for your anger." Odysseus glowered under his black brows and said, "Not for the whole treasure of your fathers, all you enjoy, lands, flocks, or any gold, put up by others, would I hold my hand. There will be killing till the score is paid. You forced yourselves upon this house. Fight your way out, or run for it, if you think you'll escape death. I doubt one man of you skins by." They felt their knees fail and their hearts, but heard Eurymachus for the last time rallying them. "Friends," he said, "the man is implacable. Now that he's got his hands on bow and quiver, he'll shoot from the big doorstone there until he kills us to the last man. Fight, I say, let's remember the joy of it. Swords out, hold up your tables to deflect his arrows. After me, everyone, rush him where he stands. If we can budge him from the door, if we can pass into the town, we'll call out men to chase him. This fellow with his bow will shoot no more." He drew his own sword as he spoke, a broadsword of fine bronze, honed like a razor on either edge. Then, crying hoarse and loud, he hurled himself at Odysseus. But the kingly man let fly an arrow at that instant, and the quivering feathered butt sprang to the nipple of his breast as the barb stuck in his liver. The bright broadsword clanged down. He lurched and fell aside, pitching across his table. His cup, his bread and meat, were spilt and scattered far and wide, and his head slammed on the ground. Revulsion, anguish in his heart, with both feet kicking out. He downed his chair while the shrouding wave of mist closed on his eyes. Amphinomus now came running at Odysseus, broadsword naked in his hand. He thought to make the great soldier give way at the door, but with a spear throw from behind, Telemachus hit him between the shoulders, and the lance head drove clear through his chest. He left his feet and fell forward, thudding forehead against the ground. Telemachus swerved around him, leaving the long dark spear planted in Amphinomus. If he paused to yank it out, someone might jump him from behind or cut him down with a sword at the moment he bent over. So he ran from the tables to his father's side and halted, panting, saying, "Father, let me bring you a shield and spear, a pair of spears, a helmet. I can arm on the run myself. I'll give outfits to Eumaeus and this cowherd. Better to have equipment." Said Odysseus, "Run, then, while I hold them off with arrows, as long as the arrows last. When all are gone, if I'm alone, they can dislodge me." Quick upon his father's word, Telemachus ran to the room where spears and armour lay. He caught up 4 light shields, 4 pairs of spears, 4 helms of war high-plumed with flowing manes, and ran back loaded down to his father's side. He was the first to pull a helmet on and slide his bare arm in a buckler strap. The servants armed themselves, and all 3 took their stand beside the master of battle. While he had arrows, he aimed and shot, and every shot brought down one of his huddling enemies. But when all barbs had flown from the bowman's fist, he leaned his bow in the bright entryway beside the door and armed, a 4-ply shield hard on his shoulder and a crested helm, horse-tailed, nodding stormy upon his head. Then took his tough and bronze-shod spears. The suitors who held their feet, no longer under bowshot, could see a window high in a recess of the wall, a vent, lighting the passage to the storeroom. This passage had 1 entry, with a door, at the edge of the great hall's threshold, just outside. Odysseus told the swineherd to stand over and guard this door and passage. As he did so, a suitor named Agelaus asked the others, "Who will get a leg up on that window and run to alarm the town? One sharp attack and this fellow will never shoot again." His answer came from the goatherd Melanthius. "No chance, my lord. The exit into the courtyard is too near them, too narrow. One good man could hold that portal against a crowd. No, let me scale the wall and bring your arms out of the storage chamber. Odysseus and his son put them indoors, I'm sure of it, not outside." The goatish goatherd clambered up the wall, toes in the chinks, and slipped through to the storeroom. 12 light shields, 12 spears he took, and 12 thick-crested helms, and handed all down quickly to the suitors. Odysseus, when he saw his adversaries girded and capped, and long spears in their hands shaken at him, felt his knees go slack, his heart sink, for the fight was turning grim. He spoke rapidly to his son. "Telemachus, one of the serving women, is tipping the scales against us in this fight, or maybe Melanthius." But sharp and clear Telemachus said, "It is my own fault, father, mine alone. The storeroom door, I left it wide open. They were more alert than I. Eumaeus, go and lock that door, and bring back word if a woman is doing this, or Melanthius, Dolius' son. More likely he." Even as they conferred, Melanthius entered the storeroom for a second load, and the swineherd at the passage entry saw him. He cried out to his lord, "Son of Laertes, Odysseus, master mariner and soldier, there he goes, the monkey as we thought. There he goes into the storeroom. Let me hear your will. Put a spear through him, I hope I am the stronger, or drag him here to pay for his foul tricks against your house." Odysseus said, "Telemachus and I will keep these gentlemen in hall for all their urge to leave. You 2 go throw him into the storeroom, wrench his arms and legs behind him, lash his hands and feet to a plank and hoist him up to the roof beams. Let him live on there, suffering at his leisure." The 2 men heard him with appreciation, and ducked into the passage. Melanthius, rummaging in the chamber, could not hear them as they came up, nor could he see them freeze like posts on either side the door. He turned back with a handsome crested helmet in one hand, in the other an old shield coated with dust, a shield Laertes bore, soldiering in his youth. It had lain there for years, and the seams on strap and grip had rotted away. As Melanthius came out, the 2 men sprang, jerked him backward by the hair, and threw him. Hands and feet they tied with a cutting cord behind him, so his bones ground in their sockets, just as Laertes' royal son commanded. Then with a whip of rope they hoisted him in agony up a pillar to the beams, and, O my swineherd, you were the one to say, "Watch through the night up there, Melanthius. An airy bed is what you need. You'll be awake to see the primrose dawn when she goes glowing from the streams of ocean to mount her golden throne. No oversleeping the hour for driving goats to feed the suitors." They stooped for helm and shield and left him there, contorted in his brutal sling, and shut the doors, and went to join Odysseus, whose mind moved through the combat now to come. Breathing deep and snorting hard, they stood, 4 at the entry, facing 200 men. But now into the gracious doorway stepped Zeus's daughter, Athena. She wore the guise of Mentor, and Odysseus appealed to her in joy. "O Mentor, join me in this fight. Remember how all my life I've been devoted to you, friend of my youth." For he guessed it was Athena, hope of soldiers. Cries came from the suitors, and Agelaus, Damastus' son, called out, "Mentor, don't let Odysseus lead you astray to fight against us on his side. Think twice. We are resolved, and we will do it. After we kill them, father and son, you too will have your throats slit for your pains if you make trouble for us here. It means your life. Your life, and cutting throats will not be all. Whatever wealth you have at home or elsewhere will mingle with Odysseus' wealth. Your sons will be turned out, your wife and daughters banished from the town of Ithaca." Athena's anger grew like a storm wind as he spoke, until she flashed out at Odysseus. "Ah, what a falling off! Where is your valour? Where is the iron hand that fought at Troy for Helen, Pearl of Kings, no respite and 9 years of war? How many foes your hand brought down in bloody play of spears? What stratagem but yours took Priam's town? How is it now that on your own door-sill, before the harriers of your wife, you curse your luck not to be stronger? Come here, cousin, stand by me, and you'll see action. In the enemy's teeth, learn how Mentor, son of Alcimus, repays fair dealing." For all her fighting words, she gave no overpowering aid, not yet. Father and son must prove their mettle still. Into the smoky air under the roof, the goddess merely darted to perch on a blackened beam, no figure to be seen now but a swallow. Command of the suitors had fallen to Agelaus. With him were Eurynomus, Amphimedon, Demoptolemus, Pysandrus, Polybus, the best of the lot who stood to fight for their lives after the streaking arrows downed the rest. Agelaus rallied them with his plan of battle. "Friends, our killer has come to the end of his rope, and much good Mentor did him, that blowhard dropping in. Look, only 4 are left to fight in the light there at the door. No scattering of shots, men, no throwing away good spears. We 6 will aim a volley at Odysseus alone, and may Zeus grant us the glory of a hit. If he goes down, the others are no problem." At his command, then, ho! They all let fly as one man. But Athena spoiled their shots. One hit the doorpost of the hall, another stuck in the door's thick timbering. Still others rang on the stone wall, shivering hafts of ash. Seeing his men unscathed, royal Odysseus gave the word for action. "Now I say, friends, the time is overdue to let them have it. Battle spoil they want from our dead bodies, to add to all they plundered here before." Taking aim over the steadied lance-heads, they all let fly together. Odysseus killed Demoptolemus. Telemachus killed Euryades. The swineherd, Elatus, and Pysandrus went down before the cowherd. As these lay dying, biting the central floor, their friends gave way and broke for the inner wall. The 4 attackers followed up with a rush to take spears from the fallen men.